Hi everyone, now that you know how to easily transfer your sketch onto your black paper, here's what to do next. And today I'm going to show you how drawing a black animal on black paper is not as hard as it might sound. Basically, all you have to do is draw the light that hits the fur and nothing else. So this is a really nice example because the light is hitting at a certain angle and it gives dramatic shadows, so that really helps bringing the highlights out. For this drawing, I'm mostly going to be using a white Prismacolor Premier color pencil and maybe a few other colors, but not much. Also, if you think this video is a bit too fast, I will be posting in a few days a real-time version of it that's about an hour and 45 minutes or so. Alright, so let's get started. So you take your white colored pencil and you make sure it's sharp at all times, very sharp point, and with a very light touch. You just have to start by defining all the white areas. That's really all you're going to draw, and you make sure you draw your lines in the direction of the fur, so you got to observe your reference picture really well. I often put my whiskers in right away so that I know where they are, and later on I will go over them a couple more times. So my wrist is kind of used to that movement it takes to draw those lines for the whiskers, so I don't find it very difficult to go over them again and again without going off and drawing on the side of the line. It's just practice, really. It was a bit harder at first when I first started doing that and drawing whiskers, but eventually, you know, my hand is more used to it, and so I can just go over them without messing up too much. I do sometimes, but not often, and there's still the option of using some poster putty and then dabbing over the line that you messed up. That's the only way I erase things if I have to erase. Because you're supposed to draw very lightly, then the line should come off pretty easily. Do not use an eraser to rub on your paper because you'll just leave a mark on it. So anyway, for my first layer, that's basically all I do. I lightly establish all the fur and I make sure that it's going in the right direction. And also that the lines that I make are all the same length and all uniform. I try to overlap some of them. I'm just trying to make it look natural. So if you have a bunch of little lines that are all the same length and going all in the same direction, it's just going to look a bit strange. So make sure you draw a lot of random lines, but still in the direction of the fur. And from time to time, I'll go over the areas where the lighting is a little bit stronger so that I can start establishing the values. Because of the shape of the head, the light falls differently on some of the areas. That's why some areas are a little bit darker than others. So if you follow what you actually see on your reference picture and you whiten some areas more than others, it will help establish the shape of the head and kind of sculpt it in a way, and that's what will make your head look three-dimensional. Once in a while there will be a few little pieces of pigments that fall off the pencil, so I never brush them off with my hand because it might squish them onto the paper and then there's no way I can remove that after that. So I always use a brush. I have a draftsman's brush, but you can use a very soft watercolor brush, for instance, if you have that, or makeup brush without any makeup on it, obviously. Yeah, use a clean brush and you can just do that. And if it won't come off, because it happens sometimes, if it won't come off with a brush, just use again your poster putty and just dab lightly on it and it'll just come right off. It's a little bit tackier than a kneaded eraser, so it'll help to come off. So once I've established the very first layer, it's pretty much halfway done because I don't have to add any colors except a little bit in the eye, but really not much. And for that, I used a little bit of sand and a little bit of yellow ochre. I also used a very light blue in the highlights of the eye to reflect the sky. But that's really the only colors that I used. So what I do at that point is I go over the fur again, pushing a little bit harder on my pencil this time and trying to vary the values on the fur. I also try to make sure that, you know, if there's any errors, I try to correct that. So I really compare my drawing with the reference picture to make sure that my eyes are at the right spot and the eyelids are correct. Same with the nose, the shape of the nose and all that. Doesn't really matter if your spots aren't really at the same place as the ones on the reference picture. It's not going to change the shape of the animal really. You'll still recognize what it is. But now if your eyes are a bit crooked or nose a bit crooked, this might change a bit and might make it look strange. So I know I said this is a black panther, and a black panther is kind of a general term for this kind of animal, but it could either be a jaguar or a leopard, and I believe this one is actually a jaguar. And so I don't know if you've seen live black panthers, but even though their fur is all black, you will see some spots anyway, and it depends on the light that hits their fur. And sometimes you might see some photos of black panthers without spots, but I'm pretty sure that's because of the way the light hits the fur and you don't see the spots at that time. Once I'm pretty happy with the white highlights, I might use a black pencil, so a black Prismacolor pencil that will allow me to maybe define the hair more, or to add details around the nose or the mouth or the eyes. And sometimes I will also add some black from the Derwent drawing pencil, because when I use this on the black paper it's more matte than when I use the black Prismacolor pencil, which has a shine to it. And when I use a black pencil, what I like to do is take a paper towel and kind of blend it on the paper. So it will go over the white marks that I've already put down, but it helps me establish softer values, and I really like the look of it. And once I'm done with the black and the white, I will spray the drawing with a fixative. And once that is dry, I will take my white color pencil again and go over the highlights one more time, because the fixative will give a little more grip to the paper again, and I will be able to lighten the highlights even more. So that's it for this little demo. I hope you like it. If you have any questions, don't hesitate. I'll be happy to answer and help you. Thank you all for stopping by. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.